video and all other videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The content of this video and all other videos on this channel are the opinions of the creator only and do not constitute legal, trading, investment, or financial advice of any kind. Investing carries a high level of risk and the majority of retail clients lose money. Do not invest any capital unless you understand the risks and you are prepared to lose it all. Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel and I'm running really late this morning. We were supposed to be taking my niece to school and then we found out that the wife had left her coat with her keys in at the in-laws house. So we had to go and get those, drop the little one off at school. Then we decided to just pop into my mum's and have some breakfast. So that was cool, but it does mean I'm a little bit behind schedule. But of course, it is nice to do something different in the morning. Now, first of all, a bunch of people were saying they missed the discount code on the PDF for how to trade cycles. So I'm running that again until Saturday. If you want to use this code at the top, you can go ahead and grab some discount on any of the merch. There's also some new merch in here, which is pretty clean. I ordered some for me. So have a good look. See if you see anything you like. Today, again, we're going to continue to find these cycle lows. I've been promising you we're going to hunt them down, find them and get some longs on out of the tradable lows that are due to form in the next few sessions. So I think we're about halfway there, halfway to finding the lows, not necessarily in terms of how low down we have to go, but in terms of time. So I'll show you the charts at the end as always. I'll show you exactly what it is that I'm looking for. But yesterday, after I was talking about cycles, a lot of people had this same question, which is, will the cycles stop working if everybody knows about them? And the absolute truth of the matter is no. And it's for a very, very simple reason. I can give people a tradable strategy. I can give people, I've got plenty. Cycles is the one I prefer, but I've got plenty of other strategies. There's some in the tutorial for momentum trading stocks and a bunch of other things. I know plenty of profitable strategies to use, and I could give you all of the rules to any of these systems. But the reality is most people still can't make money trading. So why is it? Is it because of the efficient market hypothesis or any of that? No, not at all. It's because most people cannot manage risk. Most people are their own worst enemies. You can give people a completely tradable, profitable strategy, including risk management, okay? If you're unfamiliar with risk management, there's a tutorial in the playlist for that as well. But the reality is most people are gamblers. They cannot exert the discipline required to manage risk. So no, cycles are never going to stop working for the simple reason that even when a bunch of people know about them, 90% are still not going to be able to resist the urge to oversize, over leverage, and blow chunks out of their account. So it's not something I'm worried about. Cycles have been around for a very, very, very long time. I think if the market was going to work them out and start to fake them out and this kind of thing and stop them working, it would have happened by now. Like I said, it's not really even about trading or TA or any of that stuff. It's about managing risk and having discipline. A lot of people think of trading as a technical skill set. It's not. It's a discipline. You need to be able to manage risk and you need to be able to stick to the rules, never break them, never get emotional, never oversize, never over leverage. And the absolute truth of the matter is that's the only thing standing between you and being a profitable trader. Because the reality is, out of 100 people, you'd be lucky to find more than about 10 or 15 that are capable of sticking to a risk management strategy. People cannot help themselves. They don't want to be successful. They actually want to self-harm and continuously take chunks out of their accounts. So we don't have to worry about this. Cycles are going to keep doing cycle things, and all we have to do is manage risk, and we can extract money from practically everyone. In yesterday's video about cycles, I was talking about putting the focus on the cycles and ignoring all of the narrative, all of the news out there, and already, okay, seen. It seems to be done. I think we're done. Right? And that's not a call or a prediction. This could certainly flare up again. Wouldn't surprise me if it did. But for now, okay, as quickly as it comes on, it comes off. And now the market is in search of a new narrative. So as ever, okay, I'm not trying to downplay this. I'm not saying that, it's not horrible that humans cannot resist the urge to fire missiles at each other all the time. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, as a trader, as an investor, do I need to be focusing on what's going on in the news? No, I don't think so. A bunch of people were tagging me in things like this. Apparently, Earth is set to be hit by a geomagnetic storm on October the 5th that could result in blackouts and disrupt satellite communications and cause damage to the grid. We'll see, right? We'll see. And at the same time, Kim Azabi sent me this pertaining to the solar cycles. For any of the new subscribers, because I know there is a bunch of you that are new here, I'm not really one that subscribes to solar cycles. I just like to point at them every now and again out of interest. But if there is something to solar eclipse day, then now would be the time for it to present, okay? Bitcoin has now allegedly entered the final phase of the solar cycle, which should yield a parabolic blow off top in the not too distant future. Charting guy here has been expecting a top between January 20th and March 22nd. If this is the case, it will not qualify as left translated. This would be a slightly right translated cycle, of course. However, the implications are still more or less the same. That would be an earlier than expected top and would still yield a longer than 12-month bear market. Something to keep in mind if we do get out of this year without seeing a major top come in. And so in the last two cycles, we topped out at 118 and 120 days after that last solar eclipse. And this one today is the last one of this current solar cycle. That gives us January 30th plus or minus a few days for a possible top. Pretty interesting. You can see the last times we saw this, okay, 118 days, parabolic blow off top, 120 days, parabolic blow off top. Have we got 120 days of parabolic blow off top ahead of us? I'll let you be the judge. Like I said, I'm not really basing my strategy or hypothesis around this. I'm not expecting by any means, just because we've just had a solar eclipse, to now see Bitcoin go parabolic. Although if it were to happen, this would largely speaking be in line with my base case and what I've been suggesting would happen into the end of this year. And in case you're thinking, no way we can rally that hard that quickly, Camel, well, take a look at this, okay? This is an unpopular altcoin take, but I actually agree with it. We don't actually see several months of altcoin season. We actually never have. The majority of the move happens in around 6 to 8 weeks and is very aggressive. Momentum is thin on the supply side. Then we see distribution for a couple of weeks. Some other alts then pop off, and then it's all over and we have another slow bleed with more volatile bounces to deal with. Here is that paragraph visualized. Whole heap of sideways boringness, 6 to 8 weeks of expansion, distribution at the top, and then a bear market, okay? Before, a whole heap of sideways nothing and nonsense, boring everyone to death. Then we get 6 to 8 weeks of expansion, huge upside is seen, bit of distribution here, okay? Bear market and markdown, back into accumulation. So if this is coming, okay, the whole thing could be over in as little as 6 to 8 weeks. And remember, that has been very, very consistent with what I've been suggesting we might see out of third angles. Remember, as we get 3 angles of attack that get increasingly steeper, that near vertical one, the blow off top, if you go back and study blow off tops in any other market, typically lasts anywhere between 2 and 12 weeks max. Okay, the majority of them are complete within 8 weeks. So once this thing gets going, usually it doesn't last very long. And you can see that here, right? You can see that here in the expansion, here in the expansion, here in the expansion. So it could well be a wild couple of months coming up. I was covering different types of Wyckoff schematics over the past few sessions, and we've got this Wyckoff Re-accumulation. Could this be what we've seen, okay? Have we had the creek here corresponding with this, followed by a spring and a second test, a spring and a second test, and are we now about to find that half cycle low like I've been suggesting we will, followed by a bounce, sign of strength, and off we go? If this is in play, it should be confirmed within the next few sessions in line with the stock market and gold and everything else finding their cycle lows. So again, I say a wild time to be alive. We have got a little bit of a canary in the coal mine here because the dollar is breaking out here. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh no, Camel, is this it? Are we done for? Are we going to go full deflation from here? And the simple answer is it's way too early to tell just yet. So let's give this a few more candles, okay? Let's see if this can hold above. Breakout, retest, resumption would not be a good look for the blow off top. But if this turns out to be just a quick fake out that ends up failing, then like I said, giving it a few candles will allow us to figure out which one of those two is in play. And particularly if this breakout were to fail, then we would have a very strong conviction that the dollar is going to the mid-90s. And that, of course, would catalyze a lot of upside in things like Bitcoin and the stock market. Speaking of the stock market, okay, I added this little trend line. We're still looking to see if we can find a cycle low in the next few sessions, and then any kind of swing and a reversal should be buyable for me. Here is the 2007 fractal, okay? You can line this thing up, roughly speaking, something akin to this. This is exactly why I've been saying in the last few sessions, I want to see a cycle low and a V to a new high, because until we get that, then we cannot possibly rule out this distribution type shape. And of course, distribution last time led to major breakdowns, and that actually was the top. So I'm looking forward to getting rid of this. I'm looking forward to ruling this out in the first possible instance. But until such time as we get a cycle low that not only forms a bounce, but also, and this is the important part, prints a new all-time high, then this distribution is very much still on the table as one possible outcome. Either way, we're going to find the cycle low. We're going to do that in the next few sessions. And then once we get some kind of swing and a V, we should be able to add some positions out of those longs. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn the notifications on so you can be sure to follow along as I get underneath some new positions and some new trades in the next few sessions. Same is true in the NASDAQ, right? I added this little trend line short term just so that we can have somewhere to classify as a breakout. Still think we've probably got a little bit more downside to go. Same for the Dow Jones. Still think there's probably a couple more candles of downside here, and then we can get a turnaround, a breakout, and add some long exposure. VIX likes to get crushed into Fridays, right? So I'm thinking this is probably enough of a pop-up here, maybe one more candle, and then maybe they come out on Friday and crush this thing back down, and that's where I can be looking to get some hedges on. Similar deal for gold, right? Profit locked in from the prior cycle. Now we're waiting to see both this trend line break down, something like this, followed by a swing, a breakout, and then that will probably be me getting long and seeing what we can capture for the last portion of this weekly cycle before we get that decline, larger scale decline into a weekly cycle low, where somewhere in this neighborhood would be a very, very, very nice setup to get behind. And last but not least, we're going to find out whether or not this Bitcoin idea of mine is okay. Are we going to get a counter trend bounce, half cycle low, and then a push to the upside? Or is this going to have to be scratched off? Are we going to move to finding something more like this, a much lower number swing, and then we could probably talk about getting another position on down here out of that swing? I see a lot of people saying they can't wait to load up at 40k or 55k or whatever the number is, okay, somewhere in this neighborhood, let's say. I see a lot of people talking about can't wait to load up somewhere in this neighborhood. But I would suggest to you, if we get down there, okay, we've got technical damage, and I'm going to be very, very tempted to be thinking that was the top. So be careful what you wish for, okay? Understand what the chart structure is showing us. Understand that breakdowns from here start to point to a whole heap of pain, and whether you're in or not, whether you feel like you haven't got enough Bitcoin or not, is neither here nor there, okay? Wishing for something like this, followed by an explosion to the upside, is, in my humble opinion, playing with fire just a little bit. I think the yellow scenario I've got at the moment is the one that results in the highest possible prices. So as ever, we'll keep taking it one day at a time. We know the upside and the downside scenarios. We've waited all this time for the cycle lows, and we're now very, very close to seeing them. So I would think a few more days, maybe today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday at the latest, we should be able to have seen a couple more downside candles, a nice swing low pattern show up, start to get some breakouts, and then again, you'll be able to watch me in real time get underneath some of these positions and see what the next cycles have for us. I'm your boy Camel. I hope you're doing well in life. Until next time, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.